How's the audio and video, everybody? Looking all right? Switch cameras here. Morning. Alrighty. Let's see. Live, and there is sound. Good to hear. Awesome. All right, morning, folks. Dang, we got everybody coming in now. All right, I'll give just a couple minutes for people to filter in. Yeah, Rune, I got it on my little spring-loaded boom arm thingamajig, so it was shaking when I was adjusting the camera here. Hey, Ronald, Mike, Hooligan, Don, joining us in late at night again. Appreciate that. Not going to go on for hours and hours today, but I do have something sort of interesting that I want to go over. A couple things. But I appreciate all y'all coming in. Hey, King Street, glad you're here. All right. So yeah, hope everybody's had a great week. For some people, should be a short week as far as work. Most everything here is closed on Good Friday, so I actually had that off from the normal grind of things yesterday, and anyway, got to replace this guy. It's an Armalite telescoping bolt lock, but I'll get into that here in a little bit. Other than that, really, I didn't do a whole lot. I came out here to the shop, and I will go ahead and say, before we start looking at this log, I did try to make a video with it yesterday. I was just going to do a standalone video, and I was not happy at all with the way that the video came out. Couldn't get it edited correctly, and it was like a 17-minute video, so I packed 5 minutes of content into 17 minutes of watch time. Wasn't real happy with that, so I figured I would save it for this morning. I put everything back together, so we'll look at it. It has been disassembled once before, but anyway, we'll take a look at that after a while. Another video that I do have in the pipeline, it should be pretty close to being finished. Hopefully, might work on it this afternoon, or during Jason's live. I got to finish editing, putting everything together. It was my project from last weekend, and if y'all were here last Saturday morning, I had a little bit of misadventure, I should say, before starting the live. I went out on I was outside and was coming back up on the front porch of the shop, and I knew I had a few boards that were rotted away, and so I kind of had my little path scoped out, and one of the boards broke underneath me. I'm all been bruised up and sore on the inside of my knee. My arm looks pretty good though now. But after that, I said, well, it's going to be a while before I can replace the porch on the shop. So I can still get in and out of the shop because the roll-up door and the ramp going up to it's solid wood. And anyhow, there's the door separating both sides of the shop, and anyway, on this side, and I'm gonna switch the camera around here real quick. I'll show you guys everything. First, I want to look at the chat just to see who all's here. Let's see. Hey, Brian. Glad you woke up early enough to join in. I actually slept in a little bit this morning myself. Slept till 6:45 this morning, which is pretty late for me, actually. And then, let's see. Hey, Sherelle, Anthony, glad you're here. Good to see you. Wes, happy Saturday. Yeah, Don, that definitely did hurt. It's been kind of sore. It wasn't the first time that I've ever fallen through a floor, but it was the first time I've fallen through a floor after turning 30, and which was more than just a couple years ago. And it definitely hurts longer when you're older. My chief actually fell through the floor of a building, sort of in the same manner that I did, and it took him 6 months to recover from that. Messed up his knee pretty good. So anyway, it could have been worse. Fortunately, it wasn't. So anyway, what I was saying is I wanted to have a little bit better way to secure the shop. And you can see this is the door. And I'm going to go handheld here. So I'm going to try not to shake y'all around too much because I don't have my tripod set up. You can see this is the door going to the other room of the shop, which basically is just kind of junk storage right now. But I've got the roll-up door right there. And then this is a double door. So you can see on this side, again, I plan on doing a whole video on this. I've got it almost finished. But coming in here, before, there was only this slide bolt here on this side to secure this door, which was fine because if I left the roll-up door open, I could always just throw that bolt and secure this side of the shop. However, you have to then come in and out of this door, and that's no longer an option until I get the porch recovered. So I went to Lowe's Hardware last Sunday morning and bought this nifty little night latch and installed it. It works, actually works really well on this door and for this application. But I did make a video installing this, and I didn't want to use the quick set type cylinder that they put in there, so I had a Sargent that I've fit in there. But Bill Bacardi's actually getting me a tailpiece so that I can use one of my Everest cores in here. But yeah, it works extremely well to secure the shop, and got to kind of tug on it a little bit. And then the only thing is, make sure when you're walking in and out, either make sure that you have your keys, or do that and you turn it to open the latch or retract the latch and then push that out. But Don, I see your question. Why a double door? Honestly, I have no clue. The previous owner who lived here, he did a lot of weird things. So I have no clue as to why he had a double door. Let's see who's here. But like I said, that'll be just a video coming up. Hey Jason, thank you for stopping by. Happy Easter to everybody, by the way. I don't think I said that completely before. Let me switch cameras around here real quick. Good morning, Ethan. Glad you're here. Yeah, I know night latches are very common over there. Um, and it is easy to lock your keys inside. I sort of did that the other night. I had to come out here and cut some keys for somebody, and I wound up locking myself out. Fortunately, my picks were inside the house, and I was able to go in there and get my picks and then pick my way in. So yeah, it's very easy to lock yourself out, but it actually came with this little. It's a gatehouse lock, so this is the cylinder it came with. Took like 2 seconds to pick it open. I'm not going to use that. That'll sit over there until I need it or I give it away. Let's see. Yeah, hobby, and the gap on these doors is pretty wide, so probably even use could probably even use like a long enough putty knife or something like that. I don't know. I'll have to see. Don. Oh Lord, Don. Wow. It's too early for that here. Oh man. Well, on that note, let's start looking at the main focus of this video. This is an Armalite telescoping bolt lock that I pulled out of the door, replaced it yesterday. I had a replacement one. I think I got it from Jason a long time ago, and this one was just so worn out. The main complaint was when inserting the key from the front, you could barely turn it, and if you turn the key back to the pull-out position, it would retract the bolt. In other words, you couldn't make the full circle with these. These locks, you do have to turn the cylinder 360 degrees to open it with the key. And it was just getting hung up, sticking really bad. And so this was mounted in an aluminum frame glass door. And so I had to pull the trim off the edge of the door. You could access the set screws for the cylinder and the thumb turn, and then of course the bolt could come through that trim, but you had to pop it off, and then you could access the mounting screws and remove it. Like I said before some of y'all joined in, I did make a video of this yesterday, but I was not happy at all with the way it turned out. So it has been disassembled. I do know what I believe is wrong with it, other than just old age. But anyway, I'm going to shift the camera. So again, those with an aversion to motion sickness, just hang tight, and we'll pull it down to about here. Let me know if this is a good angle for y'all. Trying to get everything right to where we can look and see. The set screws, pretty standard little set screws, except for they have these bigger heads on it. I guess that makes it easier to reach through the frame. But we can look on these. The way that the Armalite works is there's this little plate right here that pushes down. It's pushed down by the cam on the back of the mortise cylinder, and it cycles down, pushes on this plate, and then pushes the bolt and everything forward, and the bolt extends out and locks into place again. This one you can see the gears it shoves back in. It's working a little bit more smoothly than what it did, but there you can see I can't get it all the way back. And it's just kind of locked up now. Let's see if we can get it. No, can't get it to the unlocked position. And then when it pops out, the actual inner bolt doesn't come all the way out. So, let's see. I wish I had a good one, Don. I could show you how this compares. But basically, well, we'll take it apart and you can see exactly what it's supposed to do. But no, you don't. It's not a position that you can turn the key to remove the entire cylinder. This takes a regular threaded mortise cylinder. Like this one, and then you would screw it in here. We'll see. I've got got a cam that may work with this. These things are picky about their cams too. If they're not just right, then it'll get hung up just because of the nature of it, of the way that this thing works with that little plate. As you can see there, you just have to pull it back in, and this one is just all jacked up. So let's remove this cylinder. No, I think maybe what you heard me say was the pull-out point for the key, which of course is where you turn the key all the way back around to the point where you can remove it. Let's get this thing opened up. These are actually pretty cool little devices. I think I would prefer an Adams Wright myself, just because the bolt's thicker and sturdier. Yeah, Jason, yeah. Okay, yeah. I can see how these would wear out a whole lot faster than an Adams Wright, Jason. I mean, is that sort of what you found? Is that, these? I guess these, you say you've replaced every one of them, but I mean I don't know. I guess maybe you can enlighten us as to what the thinking behind using this would be. But anyway, just for the, let's see. Yeah, well, remember, Jason, you sent me the those cams for the older ones. I wasn't able to get in this one. A standard one wasn't even able to work, and one like this that's sort of rounded down, these were still tricky to get to work. I found a couple that will work in the one that I put in there, but this one was particularly picky about how which cam it took. So anyway, just to keep looking, basically put this back to the unlocked position. This is how it would be unlocked in the door, and then the cam would push down on that plate. You see this little gear rotate, and it pushes out the inner bolt so that it completes the lock, and it's protected by, I guess this is hardened steel, feels like it. And then when you unlock, it's just a reverse of that. And with some finagling, I can get it back, but it's pretty difficult. So you see that gear rotates and then comes back. So right now it's working kind of okay. You can see there's a lot of grease and buildup in here. All the teeth, let's see, except for these two right here, the teeth on this side of the gears, and they're identical ones on the other side. We'll just remove this like so, and we'll take a look at everything else. But yesterday when I was making my first attempt at the video, I found some wear right here where the metal had actually been bowed out. And I think that's from when people were trying to, probably just over the years, and then as it started to fail more, just more force was applied to try to get it to lock all the way. And so we have little bits of metal like that broke off from both sides, actually. This one as well right here. Let's see. Let me look at the comments real quick. Stupid. Yeah, this one, these doors actually were, seem to be big enough and have enough room in the frame to accept an Adam's right. Of course, the mounting would have to be replaced and probably holes re-drilled, but yeah, that's, I mean, it's not really narrow. Yeah, fortunately, these just had regular mortise cylinders. This one did. The mortise cylinder that's still in there, I may have to go back and replace it because the cylinder that was in use is an American lock cylinder. Excuse me, not American lock. It is a U.S. lock cylinder. Anyway, the tailpiece, one of the screws was stripped out before I got a hold of it. I didn't have anything to cut the screw out of it to try replacing the cam on it. So I did have another mortise cylinder with me that I could have replaced it with, but I didn't have the right size cam screws to use with it. So I'll probably wind up going back to replace that. Let's see. Yeah. Just reading here on the comments. Yeah, the cam that I've found works best is something that's sort of long, but also filed down around this point, where it's sort of tapered a little bit more through here, because it does have to be pretty deep to reach down and depress this plate the entire way. You can see how deep these channels are where this little locking lug actually fits into. So in order to pass that, it has to go down, pretty good ways there. And, but yeah, so the cams are picky on it. We'll take that apart. And then over on this side, I found some of the teeth right here, especially this one right here, where it has been flattened over. I don't know how close you can see that. Let me try getting... And that didn't work. Sorry for the bounce. Yeah, you can see this one right here is just flattened over. And I think that was just from where it's worn out and been, had issues where it was sticking and people would just try to crank the key even harder in the lock, and it would transfer all that force down through there. Looking at this part, this is the, I'm not sure the technical name for it, but this is like the outer shroud for the bolt. And of course you have the little plate, the little locking lug that goes up into these channels here, and the spring that it compresses back. See, and then you've got the, like I said, I believe this is hardened steel. Bring my light in here a little bit more so you can see that. Kind of see where that's where the spring sits, right on top there. Yeah, it's the doodad. This is the doodad, and it sits on the spring inside of the thingamajig. It's exactly what that's called. Thank you, Jason. I couldn't remember that for a second. But anyway, that's the locking lug there, and then of course this is the inner bolt, and you can see it has teeth on it too. I'm not sure what this is made out of. It feels like steel as well. It's just all nice and greasy. And as the lock is pushed forward, these teeth rotate this little gear, which meshes with the inner bolt and extends it thusly, and then retracts it as well. As Jason was saying in the comments a minute ago, it's so that it doesn't take up quite as much room in the door and can still secure the door, though, either double door or single door. To me, it seems like an awful lot of moving parts just for one thing. Jason knows better than most of us here, I guess, or a lot of us. And, if he's had to replace a bunch of these, I know I've seen them a lot, especially in my hometown, which is where this was from. Seems like everybody there just wanted to use these for some reason. And stupid U.S. lock cylinders. I don't like the U.S. lock cylinders. And as soon as I can replace that other one, I'll feel a whole lot better about it. But I'll show you, just for comparison, in case if you have played with one of these. This is the Adams Wright swing bolt, and it's pretty simple. Just have to push down on the little locking lug in there, and then it'll snap back and lock there. No gears, very few moving parts. Not really. Let's see, there is one spring in there, just for the little locking lug, but just push it down again and it swings shut. But you can see how much room this would take up in a door as compared to the Armalite. So anyway, just sort of an interesting comparison. But I'm glad I was able to figure this out as far as what the cause of death was for this lock. And my chief was actually kind of worried that it might have been somebody intentionally trying to mess it up, or doing something they wouldn't normally do or shouldn't be doing. And I believe I can now thoroughly lay his concerns to rest. by saying that tooth just wore out over time and flattened. Let me go back on the comments real quick. Let's see. Hey Lowell, glad you're back here. Hey Night Owl, appreciate you showing up. I guess you got up early this morning. Thanks for stopping by. We're just doing a Locktopsy on this Armalite lock, and we've determined the cause of death to be a broken tooth in the little gear path on this side of the housing. Yeah. Yeah, Fred. It's designed so that the locksmith can make money, just like those night latches, like what I put on the shop. Those are designed to make money in the form of lockout calls. All right, I'm going to swing the camera back around here to where we can finish up. And see, let me get everything back. Sorry about the shaking, trying to get everything tightened back here. Really would like, another camera. There we go. All right. Yeah, the Adam's right. I've seen the bypass tools for these, and it does seem like it's very, very easy to bypass. I think Bosnian Bill did a video on that a while back. Still, it's a hefty lock. I mean, I like it, and the bolt. I mean, you can't really complain about the bolt. All that laminated steel together. Guess it's just the trick of knowing the bypass. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. So that's about it. As far as the Locktopsy goes, and I'll post pictures of this, I guess on Twitter probably after a while. Also, I'm going to post pictures later this evening of tonight's dinner, grilled pork tenderloin. So anyway, just kind of keep your eyes out for that. But yeah, I enjoy doing stuff like this, taking it apart, seeing what made it fall apart, quit working. The one that I replaced it with was in really good shape, and I had taken that apart before just to see how it functioned. That way I could understand what was maybe going wrong with it, and I'm glad that I did. Because as soon as I saw this in the door and saw what it was doing or not doing, I said, yeah, it needs to be replaced. So, I mean, that was a fun project yesterday. The chief was happy, and so everybody's happy now. But anyway, I guess the next project will be to finish up the video on installing the night lights out here in the shop. And I'm not sure if I'm going to go ahead and finish that up. I'll get it mostly done, But like I said, Bill Bacardi's sending me a tailpiece that'll work between my Everest cylinder, which I've got in one of these little kick adapters, and the rim mount holes line up with that night latch. So that'll work. That'll work pretty well. It's just a matter of getting the tailpiece that will work with it and just putting it in. Let's see. Yeah. 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 Wouldn't a yeah. Night Owl, you were saying about the solid cam on the back of those cylinders for the bypass. I know a lot of them. You know, a lot of the cams I've seen, they may or may not have them. I guess it just depends. But that seems like it'd be a pretty easy way to keep from bypassing the Adams right. Um, yeah. Well, Rune, and in this case, with this particular lock, it had actually been uh, on the door of that building, because my chief has had a bunch of properties around town for a long time, and anyway, he said it was the same lock on that building at least 20 to 25 years ago. So, 25 years of constant locking and unlocking for that door. Um, it's lasted pretty good while, and it was having some issues about a year and a half ago now, maybe, and I replaced the thumb turn and the cam on it, because the cam on it was starting to wear out and catch. So I replaced all that and installed it. But that's when I knew that something was more wrong with the lock when he called me the other day. But yeah, it actually has lasted a pretty good while. But again, he's a guy that, he he's learned over the years that you can't just always assume something fails just due to, old age. But in this case, it was just old age, wear and tear. Um, Hey Jeremiah, actually just getting ready to um, uh, wrap up here in a little bit. Um, not how you, not how I'm gonna assume that you're talking about tweeting pictures of one of the bypass tools for Adam's right. Um, since I mentioned tweeting pictures about making grilled pork tenderloin, which does look kind of, easy to make. At least Alton Brown made it look easy. So yeah. But yeah, I agree with that. If something's easy to make that can quickly and efficiently defeat a locking mechanism on a door, it doesn't need to be out there on Twitter. I mean, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's on that other website that I used to go to get lock information and stuff. But anyway. But yeah, guys. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Had a good number of people here. If you like it, hit the thumbs up button on your way out. Jason's going to be going live, of course, his regular time, which is about an hour and a half from now. So, get your snacks in order, get everything else done that you need to get done, and we'll meet up over there on his channel. But I do want to say thank you to everybody for joining in. And just to mention about my tweet that I put out yesterday. when I said everybody who's tired of Tiger King, I've actually not watched that. I know everybody else has. I know everybody's been going on about it, posting memes about it. A couple of the true crime podcasts that I enjoy, they've talked about it. Hell, even one of the Star Wars podcasts that I listen to mentioned it. Yeah, I've not seen it. I don't know if I want to see it, just because it sounds like I will never get those 7 hours back of my life. And I don't have time to really just sit around and watch it. Anyway, I don't know. I might give it a shot. It depends. Yeah, Fred is a documentary on Netflix, and it has gone wildly viral and everything in this age of the virus. And I guess viral is not a good term to use right now, is it? Anyway, from what I've listened to of it, is probably not worth my time, and I'll either watch the first 5 minutes and turn it off, or I will become so engrossed in it and just watch it through and be disgusted, sort of like watching a train wreck or something. But I doubt it. I think I'm good. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, it yeah, they. I don't know. Anyway, I think it just went as popular as it did just because everybody, or a vast majority of people, have been inside. I've not been inside. I know a lot of the people here haven't been inside for days and weeks on end now. Anyway, yeah. I think my plan for today, though, is to go ahead and wrap this up. Probably clean up here in the shop a little bit. Got a little bit of a mess in here. I just want to get organized and just kind of chill out. It started out really chilly this morning, but actually we got frost this morning, 31 degrees, and but it's supposed to be up to the mid to upper 60s today, so I'm going to chill out. I'm going to catch y'all over on Jason's channel in a little while, and anyway, appreciate everybody stopping by. See y'all later. Stay tuned for more videos. Appreciate everybody who hit the thumbs up button. And I guess we'll see you next time. So, happy Easter, everybody. And stay out of trouble this weekend.